Welcome, everyone. Tico Casamayor here. My co-host, Irvans Agustin. We are at the Strive 305 podcast, talking today to our wonderful guest, Mariela Guarino. She's going to give you all a lot of good advice. Before we get to her, let's give out our thank yous. Thank you, Mayor Daniela Levin Cava, for giving us all this opportunity to help the small business community. Thank you to Manny Sid for guiding us and giving us also this beautiful location and everything and the ability to do this.
Community news boys.
Oh, that's right. Irvan's favorite people. He says Grant's his favorite twin. My twin, Grant Miller, and Michael Miller, our brother. Thank you for giving us the beautiful studio and for putting us out there on the news and making us famous.
Now that we're with Beacon Council and...
That's right, the
Sirius
Beacon
XM.
Council and on Sirius XM. So the Strive 305 now is part of the Beacon Council Foundation.
Yeah, the foundation.
We're working with them. We have other resources which are going to give our small businesses a lot of power.
When are you going to get Pitbull on the show, dude? Since we're on Sirius XM.
Well, he keeps calling me, and I tell him I'm not yet because we're booked. I'm not going to replace Mariela for Pitbull.
She does look a whole lot better.
Yes. Cool guy, nicest guy
He
ever.
does have the same haircut as us, so you know.
Well, not me. I got a little bit of Anyways, he's one of the nicest guys I've ever met when I have met him, to be honest. Yes.
What's his name? Armando?
Yeah, but I mean, I call him Pitt, but he's super nice and super receptive, and he was great to my mother-in-law, who's in love with him, and got the picture. I'm like the number one son-in-law now, thanks to him. So I owe you, Pitt. Thank you for that. Okay, let's get to Mariela. Mariela, Irvans is going to ask you a bunch of important questions.
Okay.
And you're going to tell us about everything that you do. But
everything.
I want everybody out there to learn what she does. I want you to hear and absorb, and then if you need her help, you can reach out to her. And Mariela, you're from Alkimia, is the name of your company.
The name of the company.
You're the founder.
That translates to alchemist, right?
Alchemist. It comes from that analogy of using elements that are well known in communication, mixed depending on what the specific need is, and then become something more valuable and long-lasting metal.
Excellent.
I like it.
Solidified. And usually small companies have all of these elements all over. You know, they grow, they do the marketing and communication efforts along as they grow. And they do, the beginning here, the brand there, the logo there, and then they stop, and then we're going to do social media and the website, and they are being done by different teams. What happens is there's communication all over. There's not a coherence amongst the different communication channels.
Like around the brand messaging?
Right, the messages. So the brand messaging is not efficient. Ideally...
Big mistake coming on this show because you're talking my language. This is
I love it.
everything.
Someone understands what I'm talking
everything
about.
that I preach.
This is what you deal with all the time.
All the time, and we own a family printing company, commercial printing company, and we do website development.
I know.
And we help with brands, and we help with PR, advertising, and marketing. I don't do the social media because it's so difficult to be able to do something like that and create content for a company. It requires total investment.
Absolutely.
But what you're saying is so 100% true. If you have a person doing for $500 a month, your communication's over here.
Just this little, executional thing. And then you move away because it didn't work. And then you do this little thing.
Over there and over here.
And the brand
it's not just the small businesses, like foundations and organizations. They all do. So many people need help with that. And how do you understand who you're trying to reach, keeping the message simple and direct? And even on our end, like when we work on the community side, or we work with foundations, or even the commissioners, people are all over the place, but many times in the end you forget who your audience is. And in the end, it's about being consistent. And that's always been like an interesting thing for me, just to kind of realize that it doesn't even matter what size company you are. Like, everybody has the same problem.
Yeah.
Or the budget.
Yeah. So I'm just curious for you, like, you've worked internationally, and then you started this business. What decided to... One, I'm just curious to know a little bit about you. Like, what made you decide to start your own business, actually? I was curious.
Because I have 25-year experience working in big agencies, advertising agencies with the big clients, the big budgets, and the big, teams, the American Express, the Diageos, the Nokias, And you have a limited amount of resources in terms of, and I have my experience done there, and it just went from agency to agency, for market to market. I worked in Argentina and Mexico and U.S. Hispanic here in the U.S., and I've learned that I've done so many different roles within different companies and different brands and industries that I have so much value because I've done the path myself, and I've sat in so many different places at the table that I can add more value on a small and medium-sized company.
Yeah.
Because I've done, B2B, B2C,
so many different
CPG, on the client side, on the agency side, on the, vendor side.
Yeah.
I've done traditional marketing, digital marketing. So I think it's much more valuable to bring all of those points to the table and those, hats to the table to a small company and analyze from the beginning what is the main, objective of the company, what are they looking for, and what would be the strategy behind, because we know what we are talking about. Is usually you want to do social media, why? Is your audience there? Is your message? Is your audience really going to be in that specific platform?
Yeah.
How is your message going to resonate with that consumer at that time in that platform? Maybe social media is not the right channel for you. Maybe it's a complement on something that you're already doing. So it's better to have a synergy amongst the different channels and to be your investment to be more efficient. However, you need to have a strategy in place. You need to have a route. You need to make sure that all of your assets are communicating the same thing. I recently worked for a startup, a fintech startup. Mm-hmm. And they're from Ecuador. They wanted to open the market here.
Fintech?
Fintech.
What does that mean?
Fintech is like finance technology.
Business technology.
Okay,
so
I'm
like
sorry. I wanted to know how. Not because I don't know,
because
maybe some of our viewers didn't know, but our listeners didn't know, but not that I didn't know. I didn't know. Okay,
financial technology.
I get it now. Okay,
it was a mobile app to transfer
from
money.
Ecuador.
They wanted to open market here from Ecuador. They developed a web, fintech application. And they call me, they're like, now something is going on. We don't know what happened. When I go because I first do the audit. I need to know. I do a competitive review. I know where they are, how they talk in the different mediums. I do the analysis first before I come up with a strategy or plan. And I said, everything that you're doing is not communicating one single thing that is important to communicate about and it's technology, you transferring money, confidence, and you need to show that it's a reliable company and it's a serious company. It's not communicating now without your graphics. The logo was all over the place. The communication wasn't really aligned with the values
of what
and the most important things that they needed to communicate. Once those things were aligned, that they're all talking about the same things, they're all communicating visually and all the content within the website, then it started to make sense. But first, you need to analyze where you're at in order to either fix what you have, add additional resources or different channels or communication assets, and then make a plan to all have a synergy, because the user is the same, the consumer is the same person, but it's going to look for you on a website, it's going to look for you in social media, and they all have to be the same.
Yeah. So along those lines,
same message,
So if you're talking to a small business and when you're talking, what it was making me think of is that there's a lot of businesses who may look good in one aspect. They may have a nice website, or they may have like one great ad, or they may have a lot of noise out there, but don't really connect with the audience they're trying to reach. If you were talking to a small business, what would be 3 things you would tell them or you would do to help them actually connect with who they're trying to reach?
First, we need to understand the buyer persona. Who is your consumer? Because it's hard for a brand to put themselves into the consumer's shoes. They want to talk about what they do, but not necessarily know what the audience is, open to, or it's going to be. First, know your buyer persona. Then analyze where that buyer persona is. What is your audience? Where they are? Like, do a consumer insights review, a competitive review.
Yeah. So
and then
basically, where are people buying from? Where are they? Are they walking up to your front door, or do they live in another state or another country and they're buying from you? And just understanding who your actual buyers are.
Who your actual buyer is, your audience, and where they mostly are, for them to be open to hear your message. It's not the same social media for everybody. That a smaller audience that is going to be on a specific channel.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
So
No,
What's next? Go, I'm taking notes. So what's next?
What's the third
so
one?
who is your consumer, your demographic? Where is that consumer located? What's next?
And what is the message that you need for connecting with them?
So what is my
To
message?
have an interest.
Not
in what
sell
you're
to
saying.
them, to connect with
Right.
them.
What is
First,
my
you
message?
need to connect.
Yeah.
And identify where they are.
Yeah.
And then do it in a creative way, of course, and do it efficiently. Don't be everywhere. Just use the channels to identify the audience, to segment your audience.
Once you know where they are, like again, like even in projects that we've done, speaking for our team, like we did a community project in the Haitian community, and we've also did a couple in Little Havana and others. We knew that social media wasn't going to be the avenue where all the viejitos go. They don't do that. They don't do TikTok. So if you're trying to reach them, how do you actually connect, engage them?
What'd you do?
We ended up going, we went to several churches, went to the Ventanitas, we went to the Comodores where they have the food, and we connect, and they...
Physically? You guys physically
we went to the radio stations, and we went to, because that's where they go. And just like my grandmother, she doesn't listen, at the time, like, she doesn't listen to TV channels. She didn't listen to, she only had the one AM radio station all the old Haitians used to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're trying to reach her, that's where you have to go. Or you have to go find them at church, or you're going to find the little restaurants or ventanitas that they all go to. So for that particular audience, for what we were trying to do for the commissioner at that time, that's how we had to actually reach them. And so, yeah, I totally get what you're saying, just understanding your audience and their...
Mm-hmm. And what is the message? Like, okay, so what is the message? Then what's next?
Then you find someone. It's hard for small businesses to let go, to kind of give away, their marketing and their communication. It's fine.
Right, because we want to do it all.
Right.
We want to be able to control all of
but
it, and
you're
we
the
usually
owner
have.
And you have your eyes on in your service or product. You need someone that comes from that, with that expertise, with that experience, to see it from the perspective of the consumer.
Right, and I'll explain what you're saying there in my way. You are the owner of your business. You produce your job. What you do is what you're good at, right? Printing, website development. That's what I'm good at.
Yeah.
I have attempted to try and do my own social media, my own marketing, and I can be good at that. And I got really good at that, but I forgot about my business. So what's going on? Unless I either hire somebody to run the business for me, so I can do the social media, or what you're saying and what you do, you bring in somebody that will do the marketing and the social media for you. So if you're blessed enough to be able to do that, we're going through the steps of what we're going to do, of what you're going to do. But there are some times where you have no choice but to do it yourself. And then in my case, I work for 12 hours and then I do my social media for the other 12 hours until the day that I can afford to hire you. But now that you've offered to do mine for free to prove to everybody how it works, I'm going to take advantage. So number 4. So I got the message to connect with the people. What's next? I have my consumer, got my demographic. I got where it is that consumer is. I found them. I geo-found them because, you're right. You put ads in social media and you target them nationwide. What's the purpose?
You might have 2 audiences within the same audiences. In the case of the startup in
the fintech,
they had an audience in Ecuador that will receive the money, and they have a small audience in New Jersey
that they wanted to go out
sending the money. Okay. So for national level, I did one type of campaign and strategy because it was a national level and it was cheaper to buy media, for example. But in New Jersey, it was a very small community
very specific.
Ecuadorians.
So you really have to do research to understand.
So then I didn't do social media for them. I did events, local events at communities, because that worked for me and worked for the brand to be present at the time where they were open to learn about the brand.
So then the next step
that sometimes happens, like you have dual or like...
Oh, of course. You have multiple audience of who you're trying to reach.
What do we call that? Step 4 is your content creation. You need your content creation, and then you need to do your segmentation.
And identify which of the marketing efforts will be more efficient with your investment. Not necessarily you need a whole amount of money to do it. You need to be very strategic in where you're going to invest, what channel, for how long, and evaluate the results to then do the segmentation and your analysis, and then if it's working or not, what needs to be tweaked, and make sure that whatever you do, the efforts, whatever the market is, audience, there is a coherence. Even though I spoke to Ecuadorians in New Jersey, and I also spoke in Ecuadorians in Ecuador, there is a coherence in the message. The number one app to do what, easy, whatever, but to the Ecuadorians, I cover the benefits of using the app. And Ecuadorians are going to mention the benefits of how cheaper it is to use this app and safer. To New Jersey. So, but we all talking about the same, benefits of the application. But I mentioned the ones that it was, relevant for Ecuadorians at a national level, and the ones that were relevant for Ecuadorians at a small community in New Jersey. And not through the same effort. I did media, national level, digital media or display ad in Ecuador, and I did very community-focused activation events.
Because that's what
soccer community games where the Ecuadorians are on a weekend.
Identifying your marketing efforts,
and
like you said.
that's where I went on one-on-one and explaining how the application was used and everything.
Okay. Once you do that, what's next?
You measure.
Measuring, right?
You need to measure.
How?
How
do you measure?
You have you have analytics for any display, or social media.
So if you're doing digital, you use your reporting. Okay.
Depending on the objective, if it's awareness, it is conversion, if it's whatever it is, the objective that you're doing, you're setting the campaign for, then you measure towards those, the initial goal and then the results. For the events, I had people doing on, one-on-one and would let me know how many people went to the event, how many applied, how many visited, how many. Then, of course, at our back end, I knew exactly how many people were downloading the app. So that's how I measure, and I kind of tie the results and working on.
So it's relative to business. So
to the business and to the efforts that you put out there, because there's different ways. Some cases you're going to need CRM. You want a CRM to measure. Your website can also be a measurement. The more how you've increased the number of views.
That's why you need a strategy, at least something, so you can measure where the efforts are going and what are the returns of investments. You have to generate ROI. Measure it. Now, if you have not a well user experience developed website, and you hire a marketing or like a digital to drive traffic to the website, but the conversion that application, whatever you want them to do in the website, they're not having a good experience, you're going to tell me, Mariela, the social media didn't work because I didn't convert. But listen, I brought you 15,000 people. But it didn't convert because they're not having a good experience. It's
or they couldn't find a link. They couldn't, or the website doesn't work best for them.
The link doesn't to download or to fill out a form. It is not friendly. When you press, save, it's not going anywhere. Then when someone makes, for example, an order, and you have the checkout, nobody gets back to them, so the experience is not friendly. When I go in and I evaluate all of the asset, means where the consumer is, where's it going, what's the experience at the website or whatever I'm sending him to, and in order to have a good experience throughout, from the moment that they meet the brand service to the moment that you interact with that consumer
and actually convert to make a sale.
And I want to make sure that whatever happens after that, it's also a good experience, because that consumer is going to come back or not, depending on the final loop, the closing loop of it.
Yeah, people need to understand the full cycle of the user experience all the way to buying, and that's what success looks like, right? And understanding what that means for you, and that's what you measure.
Yes, and that's what I said at the beginning. If you do it pieces, here and there, and it's not connected, you're not going to be able to measure the efforts that you put in, whatever marketing effort you put in, because you're not going to see results because they're low.
You have to be extremely lucky for all that to work out when you have it all over the place.
Right, unless you have a plan in place where you know exactly where your assets are going to be invested and where the people is going to be, and bring them to the same place to measure.
Funnel.
Yeah.
The magical funnel.
With so many new tools coming out and so many different ways of communicating and so many there's just so much out there and so much noise. How do you stay not just relevant, but how do you stay ahead of all the noise, or just know what works and what doesn't?
I've been working in advertising agencies since digital. It was 3 of us in the digital department, and we were trying to do from a landing page. From an email marketing for American Express to a banner, and then we were trying to explain the client that it was too much copy to put in. So I'm from, and I've seen how it evolved to social media.
The original basic digital presence had just started.
Exactly. And everything was like, digital is a big deal. TV is going to die. Mobile marketing. Now everything else is going to die. And now,
AI now.
AI. And what I'm always saying is the same thing. The consumer is still a human being looking for a good service product and a good relationship, a good experience. The brands are going to be always there communicating. The technology evolves, but if you don't have a good strategy, a communication that connects with the consumer, regardless of the platform, regardless of the trendy AI
the latest
generated
trend.
Whatever, you're not going to be able to connect because you don't have a strong, relevant message for your consumer, and you're doing it at the right time and in the right platform.
Yeah.
So you need to learn all of those platforms, of course, to being able to, create this specific asset, because every platform has a different asset type, length, characteristics. You need to learn those platforms and those technologies in order to create, those specific assets to connect with the audiences. That at the end is just a consumer, it's a consumer that kind of rotates and migrates from platform to platform.
May I? Okay, I'm going to do a recap of what I've learned and correct anything that's wrong, because whatever I'm going to say, they're going to listen to, and I want you to correct.
Okay.
People ask me all the time, why do you do these podcasts? Why do I do these podcasts? Why do I do? It's like, when you listen to inspirational tapes or you watch an inspirational moment, every single time it's like an inspirational moment. I'm inspired right now by what everything she just gave me here.
And I just told you about 5 years.
And I know all this, but it remotivates me and it re-energizes me. So it's like a self-improvement. My own podcast is my own self-improvement thing, so I love it. Thanks to Irvans. For Irvans, it's no big deal because he's a genius. But Mr. Urban Impact Lab that works with multi-million-dollar corporations and cities and towns, and he's an IT expert from before. Yeah, he's a genius.
I just come here to learn.
Okay, here we go. So this is how we're going to work. Number one, when we're going to do, first thing to know that's important is that when you're doing a marketing campaign, when you're going to do one, you think doing it yourself is going to be cheaper. It's like, I'm going to give you the perfect example, but my refrigerator broke. I'm going to fix it myself. I took it off, I turned it off, I let it defrost, I looked inside, I messed with it. Oh, I got it to work, I put it back in. 3 weeks later, poof, it doesn't work. Instead of just calling a guy, buying a new one, replacing it, I saved myself 3 weeks of torture, 2 Saturdays of trying to fix it myself. Same thing. You're going to do your own marketing. You think you're going to do well. You end up spending more in the end than if you bring it and use a professional like a Mariela or a company that can do it.
Or you don't have half the impact you're trying to have and not bring in.
Right, so you're losing money. You're wasting money.
Yeah, you're wasting money. It doesn't work. Marketing doesn't work, but it doesn't work because it's not.
And again, in the end, what we care about as business owners, to correct me if I'm wrong, my people, is money. So what we care about is getting the most return on investment on what we put in, whether it's our time or bringing a pro. My point is, bringing a pro is going to be cheaper than doing it yourself. Fact, I know. So number one, who is your consumer? We need to find that out. In my case, people that buy printing, people that buy signage, people that want to build websites, landing pages you mentioned. A lot of people don't know what a landing page is versus a website. Super important what the landing page tool is for. But you want to find out, call us. Number two, where is your consumer? Be careful when you're marketing, because if I'll give you another example of marketing. My father-in-law created music from his father's old music tapes that he had. He turned them into MP3s and put them on iTunes. And he started promoting them because he promised his father he would do that. And he's promoting them on Facebook on his own, putting money, $100, $500. Suddenly he's getting texts from Middle America saying, get this Latin crap off my feed. What are you doing? I'm talking a much worse language. Because he didn't know, so he blasted it to the whole world. And people were getting mad because they don't want to hear Cuban music in Middle America. So that's what you've got to define your location, and you can target. The beautiful thing about digital marketing, again, I do printing, so I can do mail outs. Mail outs is also targeted.
I used to do it too.
And that's coming back, believe it or not. So mail outs, and you can do the same with your digital marketing. You can direct it to specific people. It's critical to know who your consumer is. Next step,
where they are.
What is my message to connect with them? What am I going to tell them? I'm going to go after agencies, in my case, because agencies buy in bulk. If I can find individual clients, great. But if I can go after an agency, they're going to buy signage and printing and work. So that's my number one consumer. And then if it trickles down to the general market, great. That's just extra. But that's who I should go after. What is the message I need to tell them? That we've been around since 1971, that we have history, that we have, that's the kind of messages. Again, we sit down, you and I together, and we put the message together. Then the content creating the content that's needed so they see it. Because I can't just put a big sign and say, hey, we do this, because nobody's going to pay attention. It's got to be creative. It's got to be fast. Because everybody today is fast. So content creation is the next step. Very important step.
And can I add? Omnichannel. It's a word that is not...
Omnichannel?
Omnichannel.
Oh, that's a new word. Tell me what that is.
You do the content strategy at an omnichannel level, which means that it goes to every channel. You're going to spread the word, and you're going to develop your campaign to talk to them in out of home, digital, your website, whatever. If you're doing printouts or event marketing, it's omni-channel. It goes to every channel where the consumer is. Find them.
But then each channel, you have to find where each consumer is in that channel.
Right.
Right, okay. And create the assets for each separate channel because they're all different.
Yes.
Yeah, I know that. Okay, I learned that. Measure, then once you do that it's been sent out, you want to measure the results of what you've done so that you can tweak it and get more return on investment on the next round.
On the ones that work.
On the ones that, right. And then your next round, you remove the ones that don't, and you perform.
The ones that you perform better.
Yeah. And that's why you have to measure. That's the other one. That's
but everybody, I can figure that out. I can do it myself. I'll look up on YouTube. It'll teach me how to do it.
At least
Again,
3 months.
If you quit your job, you can do it.
Your recommendation is
3 months.
3 months
Yeah.
to see some of the platform's algorithms, to learn what the specific audience is, what are the segmentations, different layers that you added to that segmentation, their interest, and then the platform learns the algorithms, and it's going to be more effective towards the end of the campaign than in the first month or two.
Right.
So if you quit on month one,
right, which a lot of people do. Because they don't want to spend any money. Oh, it didn't work.
You just started.
You've
got to give it
3 months always on and be persistent with your communication and with your message.
100% agree with that too. That's a difficult one to get across to people.
They give up like in the first, but
right, because they expect. Sometimes you just, believe it or not, sometimes you do get crazy return on investment on the first month on certain kind of clients. We did a dentist, instant explode because we went after emergencies. But correction. Initially, she wanted to do, I want to do teeth whitening and I want to do these type of things. We told her that's not the best route for a dentist, but did it anyways, didn't get much. She goes, okay, you guys take over. Went after emergency patients near me. Dentists near me, emergencies, those. She blew up, opening up her second location.
Because you segmented the audience very well, and your message is targeted and tailored, for that specific
and created a landing page that was only for that.
Just for that?
To instant, it was crazy how that worked.
You don't want them all over the place. You just want them to be one click to what they needs to be done, have a good experience,
instant.
and that's it.
Especially an emergency, they just want. And then once she had them in their place is beautiful. She keeps them as a client. She's opening up a second location. That was one of our best case studies. Okay, so then that's your return on investment review. We just went over that. But before you even do all that, we've got to make sure that our product is up to as good, and where people are coming to, wherever we're sending them to, whether we're sending them to a brick and mortar, whether we're sending them to a website, whether we're sending them to a landing page, whether you're sending them to social media, whether you're sending them to a commercial, anything that wherever they're going to, all that has to be set up and proper and correct and big quick.
Efficient.
In today's world, fast, right? Like me.
Experience friendly.
I'm very fast. I work in, I talk too fast. But that's the key.
It has to be friendly.
So friendly. So that's the whole process.
The whole process needs to be enjoyable and needs to be effective.
And you're able to do all this because you're talking about a lot of work here. And the content creation alone is a mission. How do you do the content creation?
I work with different teams, experts as me, and depending on the scope of work of the client and the objectives that we need to reach out with a specific strategy, I partner up with either a media person or a media team or a creative development company, or I work with different teams and different platforms to do all of it. But it's led by me from the beginning to the end, from the development of the strategy. From the moment I sit down with a person that needs help, I need to identify what is exactly what they need. I put up the strategy, hire the team if I need to, or if I do it myself, and produce it, execute it, and measure results.
So where do people...
I want to make sure that it's well done from the beginning to...
Yeah, and it's...
Where do people find you?
Budget, too.
Huh?
Budgeting, too.
Right.
You help with the budget based on the person's need. It's not all about spending 10 grand a month. It all depends.
Need one specific effort once you analyze what they need, and
Because what scares people away from this, from us, from doing this, is thinking, oh my God, I got to spend so much money.
No.
But you can tactically be done. The dentist was beautiful. The dentist started with an amount monthly, and she's like, why did I stop getting calls at 10 a.m. every day? Because your money is the
campaign.
The PPC, the point paper click campaign, is ending at 10 because we only have enough money to cover till 10.
Set it up ahead of time.
Also, put up more money. She started at 1. She went 10 times what she started from the beginning, so that she can get the full day.
Now she's doing way more.
Yeah, she had spent a lot more money, but it didn't matter. One visit with an emergency covered the month. Anyway, sorry. Go. How do people find you?
Myalkimia.com. That's the name. That's the website of my company.
How do you spell that?
MYALKIMIA.com.
.com.
ALKYM. ALKY?
ALKIMIA.
Alkimia.
Alkimia with K. Alkimia is the name that represents me and all of the different elements, based on all my roles and different, markets that I work, companies, strategies, development, etc. So that, and it's the transformation of, working at specific agencies to having my own set of tools and experiences to make that, the plan and the strategy that works for the clients, and partner up with clients and companies that value the experienced marketeer that is going to guide them through and work as partners, collaboration.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And part of being good at what she does is having the ability to negotiate contracts, buying power, media, because all that requires. And I can tell you from experience that this one is very aggressive, and she gets things done. Because she was,
big agencies, yes.
She knows, she's very aggressive. She basically, for something I needed done, she beat me to death until she got what she wanted, and she got it. So she's good at it. And no, that's required. You've got to be good at that to be able to
You need to understand what you're buying and being able to implement a strategy plan or a marketing plan. You need to know where you're headed, where the players are, what's most convenient, resources. You're going to be investing somebody else's money. You need to make sure that they're doing it right.
You get the best deal
and
for
you're going to get
the best value,
of the best, of the investment. So
the less money you spend out there, the more money she's going to make in the end. So she's trying to look out for us as the consumer, because if we spend too much money on media buying and on junk we're not going to use, that's less money for her. So trust me when I tell you, and I know the key is get the most return on investment for your client. They're with you forever.
To be efficient.
Yes.
You don't need to be everywhere all the time. You need to make the analysis to know exactly where your audience is, to be very, very specific.
To be at the right place at the right time.
Yeah. I know. And okay, before we go, I have to tell you, because doing this is very difficult. The whole podcast, angles of cameras, lighting, it's not easy and constant. So our producer, Anthony, I'm going to say his full name, which I'm going to try to do it again. Anthony Salvala Campos. Is that correct?
Salvala Campos.
And he is like one of the best. And he gets mad at me when I go over, and we're way over again. Look at the little crowd up there. But without him, this doesn't happen.
He's used to the abuse.
He's used to and they were talking, but he really is spectacular. He kicks me under the table. But he really is spectacular, and you're going to see when you get all your product and when you see how beautiful the whole show comes out at the end. So thank you, Anthony, again. You're the best.
I wanted to thank also Manny, Sid.
Who?
He invited me.
Who's that guy?
Manny?
Manny Sid.
I met him at an event very, very quickly. I'm very thankful for him. I went to an event. He invited me to an event to meet you. And then, I met you and you invited me to be here. So I'm really, really thankful for the opportunity. And I'm also, very persistent and
Well, I'm not on camera, but I was giving the look.
El taladrito.
Yeah. That's what I meant before. From my radio listening, I'm rolling my eyes back saying, hell yeah, she's aggressive. But that's good for you if you use her.
She stays on her hustle. It's not a bad thing.
And Manny Sid is unbelievable. I don't know how he's able to talk.
He's all over the place.
And Mayor Cava is the same thing. It's constant. Every single person that comes up to them, they help, and they'll stop and talk and help them with whatever it is. Yeah.
If you haven't yet, make sure you definitely register on the Strive 305
Yes, I am.
platform as a resource, and then everybody can find you there.
Absolutely.
And, okay, well, thank you. We got to go, Anthony. Sorry, man. He's giving me he usually gives me the two-finger wave. Now he's giving me the one-finger wave. Okay, yes, end us, Anthony.